Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany during World War II, is often remembered for his strategic cunning and ruthless ambition. However, beneath the facade of invincibility, Hitler's leadership was riddled with critical errors that ultimately led to Germany's defeat in the war. From military miscalculations to ideological fanaticism, these mistakes proved to be fatal for the Nazi regime and altered the course of history. One of Hitler's most significant mistakes was his underestimation of the Soviet Union's resilience and military strength. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, with the belief that the campaign would be swift and decisive. However, the brutal Russian winter, combined with the vastness of Soviet territory and the Red Army's determined resistance, proved to be formidable obstacles for the German forces. Hitler's failure to adequately prepare for the challenges of the Eastern Front resulted in a protracted and costly war of attrition that drained Germany's resources and manpower. Another critical error made by Hitler was his decision to declare war on the United States following the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. Up to that point, the United States had remained neutral in the conflict, focusing on supporting the Allied powers through Lend-Lease and other means. By declaring war on the United States, Hitler underestimated America's industrial and military capabilities, as well as its determination to defeat the Axis powers. The entry of the United States into the war significantly shifted the balance of power against Germany and its allies, ultimately hastening their downfall. Hitler's insistence on pursuing his ideological obsessions at the expense of strategic pragmatism was another fatal error. His fixation on racial purity and the annihilation of perceived enemies, particularly Jews and other minority groups, diverted valuable resources and manpower away from the war effort. The implementation of the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, not only represented a moral abomination but also diverted attention and resources for more pressing military priorities. Additionally, Hitler's refusal to mobilize Germany's Jewish scientists and intellectuals, many of whom fled to Allied countries, deprived the Nazi regime of valuable expertise that could have contributed to scientific and technological advancements crucial for the war effort. Furthermore, Hitler's micromanagement of military operations and his interference in strategic decision-making undermined the effectiveness of the German High Command. Despite his limited military experience, Hitler often overruled his seasoned military advisors and imposed his own directives based on flawed assumptions and personal whims. This led to strategic blunders such as the ill-fated decision to split German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad and the failure to secure vital supply lines in North Africa. Hitler's interference in military affairs contributed to a lack of coherence and coordination within the German military establishment, ultimately weakening its ability to respond effectively to Allied offensives. Moreover, Hitler's failure to cultivate strong diplomatic alliances and his alienation of potential allies further isolated Germany on the world stage. His aggressive expansionist policies and disdain for international norms and institutions antagonized neutral countries and potential sympathizers. By alienating countries such as Spain, Turkey, and Sweden, Hitler missed opportunities to secure vital resources and strategic advantages that could have bolstered Germany's war effort. Additionally, his brutal occupation policies in conquered territories fueled resistance movements and hardened Allied resolve to defeat Nazi Germany. In addition to these mistakes, several other factors contributed to Hitler's downfall. Firstly, Hitler underestimated the significance of air power in modern warfare. Despite the early successes of the Luftwaffe, German Air Force, Hitler's focus shifted away from developing long-range bombers and strategic bombing capabilities. Secondly, Hitler's ambitious military campaigns and territorial acquisitions stretched Germany's resources to the breaking point, leading to overextension and logistical challenges. Thirdly, Hitler's neglect of Germany's navy limited its ability to challenge British naval supremacy and protect maritime supply routes. Fourthly, Hitler underestimated Allied intelligence capabilities, particularly their success in decrypting German codes, which provided crucial insights into German military plans. Finally, Hitler's failure to fully harness the productive capacity and manpower of women and non-German populations weakened Germany's overall war effort. In conclusion, Adolf Hitler's leadership during World War II was marked by a series of critical errors that ultimately led to Germany's defeat. From underestimating the Soviet Union's resilience to declaring war on the United States and prioritizing ideological obsessions over strategic imperatives, Hitler's mistakes sealed the fate of the Nazi regime. His micromanagement of military operations, failure to cultivate diplomatic alliances, and brutal occupation policies further weakened Germany's position and alienated potential allies. Ultimately, Hitler's hubris and misguided decisions contributed to the collapse of the Third Reich and the end of Nazi tyranny in Europe. The legacy of his mistakes serves as a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked power and ideological extremism.